Hi, this is Jennifer Hough and Thriving Life, and I just wanted to get into a little bit of one of biggest, the biggest things that stop us from actually being able to flourish through times of great change, like actually because of times of great change. I was noticing recently, even for myself, there is let's say a level of flow and a level of being able to lead that's presenting for me. There's some projects that I'm working on that are really, I would say, pretty big picture, visionary, might be national, might be international. And I realized that it's like who I need to become in order to do that is really someone different than I am today. Like I don't have all the skill sets. I'm not fully used to, what's coming my way because of these movements that are calling to my heart. But it doesn't have to be a movement that's calling to your heart. Have you ever felt like you could feel something calling, like you feel something going, come on, your beingness is being absolutely tickled, and you're not really sure how to get to the place where it is made manifest. Sometimes it can even feel a little bit frustrating. It can feel like, I feel it. It's like right there. I hear this all the time. I'm on the edge of the cliff. I'm just about ready to fly. I'm just about ready to jump. And when there's a lot of polarity in the world, imagine that the contrast, the problems, the monetary stuff, the economic stuff, the political stuff, all that stuff births solutions, because you can't have problems in the land of physics without the solutions actually existing. Could be solutions for the world. It could be internal solutions, like all the things that I need to become in order to be the person that is able to capacitate and contain what's next for my life. I mean, I've been doing it all my life. So have you. You've been, if you have children, you had to become a parent. You didn't know what you were doing, right? So we're constantly doing that. It's just there's a lot more contrast right now than this is global, right? And so there's an opportunity because all the problems have created who we need to be in all of the solutions. It's not actually like that. The problem can't even exist without the solution, says the law of entanglement in physics. So the problems that are happening are the solutions already exist. Just what is it that you and I are being asked to become? Not to be Gandhi, not to be, you don't have to be Gandhi. Don't be thinking like that. You don't have to save the world. The world doesn't need saving, quite frankly. The world has been filled with contrast for eons. But the people that flourish through times of great change are people that have a relationship to contrast and a relationship to problems such that they instantly know that solutions have already been created, and then they do the things to be able to thrive. I call it the thriving operating system. But I wanted to talk about, it's actually a thing that we teach. But I wanted to talk about one aspect of the thriving operating system. And that one aspect of the thriving operating system is this place where we're right on the verge, on the edge of the cliff, as so many of our clients say. Maybe you said it, we're right on the edge of the cliff. We're right there. We can feel that life is calling and life is presenting, right? It's right there. And what happens is maybe we don't feel like we have the skills, or we don't have the tools, or we don't know, or we need more clarity, or then there's a certain level of frustration. But one of the things that happens in the laws of physics is that level of curiosity, if you've ever felt this, I want to congratulate you, first of all, for having the level of curiosity and the willingness to become what's next for you. But we want to transcend that sense of urgency, because the fact that you can feel, this is one of the greatest things that stops people from becoming the what's next, is they get a sense of desperation. I've had it. Have you? A sense of desperation that they need to get there faster, or that there's a world to save. When in actuality, that glass ceiling that we're moving through, the desperation comes from the contrast that's caused from the you that you've been, the habits that you've created, the ways of being that you've created that are not the you that's next, and they don't want to die. So this is where the punchline is of today's Thriving Life show. So it's not what you think. All of your ways of being exist. All the ways that you're going to become already exist too. But imagine that the entities, everything wants to live. Everything wants to keep becoming, including your old ways of being. They live as entities, as thought forms, as ways of being that are formed of the metaphysical, quantum physical particles of existence. They exist, your ways of being. They're a thing. And they don't want to die. They've had so much life. And the instant you start getting interested in the what's next for you, the instant I start going into the what's next for me, they get really scared. They're going to go away. They're not going to have life anymore. They're going to die. We don't really have a fear of death as human beings, because ultimately the truth is the soul, the spirit that is us, knows that we're infinite. We continue on. We go to the next and the next and the next. The only thing that can be afraid is your ego, the amygdala-based ways of being that protect you and keep you in control. Perceptively, they don't actually, but they perceptively are keeping you in control. It's not really control. They keep life predictable. But the thing is, you were born as a creator, which by definition means that predictability goes against the very fabric of your existence. So imagine that these beautiful, safer, perceptively not really safe, but safer ways of being that protect you from the past happening again, or from your greatest fear in your future happening that's never happened, but you're living like it's real. Those ways of being don't want to die. And so they scramble to be right in your face. They scramble to sabotage you. They scramble to in my case, I noticed myself really in my becoming and watching myself have desperation sneak in every once in a while, like desperately trying to do X, or desperately trying to get something right, or desperately trying to be enough for this podcast, or desperately trying to, you get what I'm saying? And there's this feeling of desperation. And I know the person that, in my little world, I consider myself to be pretty generous and pretty grounded, but there's a level of generosity that transcends that desperation. There's a level of generosity. There's a level of opulence of spirit. There's a level of graciousness and beneficence, that is available in my beingness because I've been feeling it. There's a level of being given to that is so transcendent of how I've lived my life, which in the past was very lone wolfy. You ever been lone wolfy where you had to do it all yourself? There's no being given to. The only way to make your life work is to do it yourself. We get taught that in school. Our parents, we watch all the successful people and they all say that. but it's a bunch of baloney, you guys. This beautiful, beautiful being that has gotten you to this place, it's scrambling to get your attention. It's like, no, come back to me. I want to keep living. I want you to keep using me as your protective mechanism, as your way of being that keeps people at arm's length so they can't hurt you. When in actuality, it's just a little kid. Think about it right now. What age is that protective way of being? What age is it? Think about it. What age is it? Take a look. You know, for me, the age is probably in my teens, a 15-year-old that was really scared of people and boys, and, you know, and it's just easier for me to be really, you know, do well at school, and it's all identities. It's all stuff I made up. Has nothing to do with anything. So I love this evolution I'm in. And I have such grace for those identities that I made up. And sometimes, instead of trying to get rid of them, that's the second thing I want to make sure that I share today. Instead of trying to get rid of the identities and instead of trying to analyze the living daylights out of them, instead of going to people and talking about them, which, by the way, gives them more energy, how about we actually love them up a few levels? You know, I get to love that part of me that ever kept anyone at arm's length. I'm so sorry that I was scared so much and hurt so much. You know, that part of me still exists. And then I look at the amazing people I was just sitting with, having the most incredible conversation in generosity, in co-generosity and co-creativity. I just sometimes feel so damn blessed. And that little girl didn't know that how, you know, generous the universe is. So I'm informing her so that she can become, and so that that identity can actually become along with me. That she gets another job, a different job. Imagine that instead of fixing what isn't broken, it was a perfectly sane way of being for that age of life. As soon as you try to fix it, you give it more energy. That's one of the transcendent things about our work, is we're not about fixing your brokenness because you're not broken. We're about actually assisting those things that are glass ceilings. So let's do this. I'm doing it too. We're all in this because we're constantly in this spiral instead of going in a circle. The circle turned into a spiral because we're constantly creating upon creation and becoming the person that can create those things. Isn't that juicy? And instead of trying to fix ourselves or analyze what's wrong, there's nothing wrong. Then you're just in your next becoming. But that second thing I wanted to share is instead embrace that thing you've been. Embrace that way you've been and have grace for it. And let it know that you're taking that way of being with you, and she or he gets to become too. So that they just get a new job. That way of being gets a new job that isn't about protecting against something. By the way, that very way of being would have you manifest the fact that you're concerned about protecting against whatever it is you're concerned about protecting about. And I'd love for you to put in the comments right now, what have you been protecting yourself against? Because literally you'll be vigilant for it. You'll see it everywhere. Oh no, it happens. You're telling your amygdala to be vigilant for it. You're telling your reticular activating part of your brain to be vigilant for incidents of it so you can justify continuing protecting yourself. Or that entity or way of being has justification because it doesn't want to die. But what if we just inform that way of being that there's a whole other way of living, and that worked so far and we're so grateful, and there's what's next. Yeah? Same for me. There's what's next. The third step of this, which we're not going to get into now, but the third step of this is really to identify what you're stepping into so deeply that there's no turning back. And there are specific ways to do that, but just know you can sort of start the ball rolling about that. In the meantime, that is literally what we're doing in Costa Rica in November. So, go to thewideawakening.com and just click on the trip. If it's time for you and you're just over it about all your identities and protecting yourself, and you know there's a dream that's dreaming you, then check out Costa Rica. Imagine being with a whole group of people that are all doing the same, and the vortex and the activating of each other that exponentiates are becoming. Come on, so good, right? Anyhow, I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful for you being here right now. I'm so grateful that we get to become together. Every morning I do what I call a future activation, meaning I activate the future, but as though it's already happened. I talk about it like it was the past, like the day has been complete and I've had that day already. And I can feel my biology shift. And you were actually in my future activation today. So just this communion and talking about how the freak out of the old identities is not a bad thing. It's a sign that you are courageous and brave, and literally it's coming. Don't make it wrong. Transcend the need to get desperate or to get frustrated. Allow yourself to talk to the very identity that wants to drag you back into the drama, and have a conversation to let it know that it's okay, it's coming with you, it's just going to become something new. And then take a breath and breathe in and be okay with it. So that's it for today. Make sure that you like us, that you follow us. It really, I know you hear people say this all the time on shows and podcasts and all that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, you actually liking us and following us, and if you know someone is coming up against their greatest glass ceiling, then share this show with them, because that's what makes the world a better place, and it gets us out into the world so that we can help more people. So we appreciate all of our fans and cheerleaders like you. So, all right. See you on the next Thriving Life every Friday. Okay, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern.